Howdy y'all, and hello from a hot Louisiana summer day. It is brutal out here today. But the task at hand is to help you understand how to outline and how to compose an academic paragraph for this class. The kind of writing that you will do when responding to literature is much more close to 100 or 101. I'm sure you took either of those classes than it is to 103. So we're not doing a whole lot of argument in here. But we are doing a lot of explanation, and the goal is to explain what we learn when we're reading literature. It's not a book report, so you're not just going to tell me the facts. I don't care, any reader is going to care about the facts of the story that can be read and understood that way. It's about the ideas that come out of it and that you're able to learn on your own and then articulate on your own in writing. Of course, you'll be prompted by questions, and as you know, the question here is, all right, what is Whitby's transformation? How does he grow, etc., right? When outlining your body paragraphs, follow along with me here. You want to think about 8 to 12 sentences. You can go above that a little bit, maybe 13, 14. They want to be substantive paragraphs. There's a lot of interpretation, a lot of your own thinking and voice that you have to put into this. Right, so there has to be some flesh to it, right? Some meat. And the structure is standard for just a regular academic expository or explanatory essay. It's called TEA. T stands for your topic sentence, E for explanation and examples, and then A for analysis, where you interpret those examples for the reader and you interpret them in order to explain your thesis. When I outline, I don't follow any of the rules of grammar or punctuation or anything. I just put ideas down and then I come back and edit it later. But one thing I do in all of my outlines is put the thesis at the top of every page. I need to know what my concept is that I'm trying to get forth. Here the thesis is Whitby grows into a better person. So this is what I would write at the end of my introduction, and it's my signal to myself that my task in this paragraph is to explain one part of this. So follow along here too. With this thesis, the task is to explain Whitby's growth. There are innumerable ways to do this, but you should consider developing 1 or 2 concepts per paragraph, no more than 2, maybe 3, but you get the point. It's piece by piece rather than in big chunks, right? You're not lumping everything into one paragraph, just one subset of the thesis. Now, if it works for you, you can think about, okay, I can do one paragraph on how he grows, or one on why he grows, or one on with whom he grows, etc. It doesn't really matter. You just need to give yourself a vehicle or a structure to express your ideas. That's the most important thing. So we will write out as our topic sentence, and this is my idea here, okay, one sentence to begin the paragraph. It's an overreaching, very general concept that the reader is supposed to understand. Whitby grows through loss. And with this, the reader understands, okay, this paragraph is about how Whitby grows through loss. And I'm going to break it down into more steps. Now what I've done here is I pre-drafted some of the ideas that I want to cover in this paragraph. And I will read them to you. Like many Americans, Whitby doesn't know his neighbors well and hasn't developed empathy for their own suffering. For Whitby, this is a missed opportunity to have a fuller life. Unfortunately, he must suffer loss in order to understand others' suffering. The lack of understanding he has about his neighbors is seen when he perceives the light of Plotnikov's home going all on at once and views it as an anomaly rather than Plotnikov's passing. It takes Constancia to say, quote, something has happened in the house of Whitby and Constancia, so here's my first example. Returning to my explanation, it is only when Constancia dies in his arms and reanimates before moving across the street that Whitby's growth begins. This is best seen when he enters Plotnikov's home and sees the names of his compatriots carved into his coffin. And here we have another long example. Now, these quotes are part of a sentence. They're not a separate sentence. So as I count here, I think I have 6 total sentences in this part, maybe 1 here, right? So a total of 7. I've got space for another 5, 6 sentences, right? And a good way to look at a body paragraph is to consider about half of it being of explanation of examples, and about half of it being of the analysis you do. The analysis, again, is your voice. It's your interpretation. It's where you tell the reader what this quote helps us to understand about Whitby's growth, or what this quote helps us to understand about Whitby's growth. Obviously, this one is longer. It's going to take more out of you, right, in terms of your words to interpret it, but it is your job to tell the reader how this quote helps us to understand Whitby's growth through loss and Whitby's overall growth. So you're drawing kind of a connection back to the topic sentence for the reader and then back to the thesis as well when you do the analysis in any of your body paragraphs. The analysis can begin with phrasing that's very simple, something as simple as this passage reflects or this passage shows, or Fuentes touches on this theme when he writes, or this is seen here. Anything like that is fine. If you want to, you can also use the analysis to transition into the next paragraph. Not all paragraphs in the body are just topic paragraphs. I mean, if you have a long piece of analysis to do, just take a separate paragraph and just keep going. You can just start the next paragraph with, moreover, okay, it's important to understand that the quote shows this as well, and you have maybe a briefer paragraph, right? But the point is to express to you that the TEA format works to develop one part of the thesis, right? When you're on to the next part of the thesis that you want to explain, you create another paragraph for it. And the analysis works as the linking or the transition element between the two. As always, I look forward to working with you. If you want to send your drafts to me, go for it. If you want to send individual paragraphs to me, go for it. Any questions that you have, more than welcome. I love this stuff. I love helping you. So just know that I'm here on the other end. Whenever you need help, reach out via email and I will get back to you quickly. So I hope this helps. All right. Push to show your thinking on the page. Don't tell me what happens in the story. Tell me what you learned from reading the story, right? And there is a big difference. I trust you to use your intelligence, and I really want to see that because I want to see what you think